Yeah. So as Adrian so ably introduced, my name is Jeanine Walters. I'm an architect here in the development organization, which means I write code. Yay! I have 10 minutes, so I'm not going to give you like, this is all the architecture, but we're going to do a little bit of slice today and kind of give you guys an idea of the kind of stuff that we do here. So this is Renee. Everybody meet Renee.
Persona.
Right, Renee is a persona. Yes. That was my little secret.
Oh, sorry.
So Renee works for Dell as a regional manager. Okay. Renee works, can you hear me now? Okay. Renee works for Dell as a regional manager, not for real, just for this presentation. And Renee has a question. She wants to know how laptops are selling in the Western region. So we're going to kind of dive a little deeper into how this actually happens and how we get this data out of Salesforce and give Renee her answer. Before we do, just to give you like a little bit of an idea of how data is stored in Salesforce, I'm going to talk about multi-tenancy. So we have lots of different customers, but we don't have to have as many databases as we have customers. And so what we do is we'll have a great big database, we'll have the data in it, we'll have the metadata, and each customer gets a slice of that data. And the way we ensure that, Dell's data isn't mixed up with Burberry's data is we give each of them a customer ID, and every operation that they do with us, every query, every read, every insert and update, they all get tagged with that customer ID, and we keep everything really safe. The customers don't have to deal with that, we do that on our side. So just to give you an idea of some of the different kinds of data people store with us, Dell might be interested in what kind of products, servers or laptops. Burberry cares a lot about the customers, so they might want to know some more customer information. Is this a repeat customer, for example? And if you were building a payroll app, which you guys can build stuff on Salesforce, I highly encourage you to do it. You might be storing some deduction information. So if you notice, these are all different data types, right? We've got maybe like a select list of server, laptop, and tablet. We've got Boolean. We've got currency data. But we do something kind of a little differently in that we'll store all kinds of different stuff into one column in the database. We call it a flex column. And it basically allows us to, store lots of different customers, different data, and handle it all well. As you'll notice, each of these has the customer ID in it, so we're keeping everybody's data safe. And the way we do it is we make that column very, very loosely typed, so it's not set to a text field or a Boolean. When we do optimizations, sometimes we split those out so that we can then do things like text ordering and whatnot and get a little more optimization power out of it. So back to Renee's question. Does everybody remember what Renee's question is?
Salesforce, Western region.
Yes, very good. For those of you who didn't hear, it's what are laptop sales in the Western region. So we pretty much can pull that answer out of the database pretty easily now. It's all in a bunch of tables. We just, go and join the table and it's done, right? SQL 101, I'm sure you guys are way ahead of that. But kind of the more interesting question for us is, how can we do it quickly? What's going to be the fastest way to get this data out? All right, so just to kind of give you a picture of what this all looks like, Dell has a lot of data. Some of that data is, about laptops, some of it's about the Western region. And Renee may only be able to see some of that data, right? In a lot of sales organizations, they're really protective about who gets to see what. And, if you think about salary information, for example, you don't want everybody in your company to see everybody's salaries. So we do a lot to make sure that data visibility is tightly controlled. So for this question, we're trying to get that little dot in the center there. So to do this quickly, where do we start? Do we start from what Renee can see? and then try to find which of those are laptops. Do we start from laptops in an index? We've got a bunch of choices, right? Because we've got a bunch of tables. And we need something to help us figure out which is going to be the best way to go. And that something is the multi-tenant query optimizer. It sounds like a lot of big, crazy technical words, I know, but all it is the thing that makes all our queries go fast. So what it does essentially is it asks and answers a bunch of questions, like, how much data can Renee see? Is it a lot? Is it a little? What's going to be the best place to start? Is the data she's looking for in an index? If not, then that means we have to go to the whole table. That might be slow. So the query optimizer finds out all these questions, it gets the answers, and then it builds the best query it can using that information. Did I finish this one? Okay. So the next question is, where is the query optimizer going to get this information from? So it's a combination of places. Sometimes we do a bunch of pre-queries where we say, okay, Renee is going to see this data, sees this much data, and that doesn't actually change that often, unless she gets a big promotion. So that's something that we can query ahead of time and store in the query optimizer statistics. Whether there's indexes or not is easy to tell. Sometimes, to tell whether there's a lot of data or little data, we can query the index directly. And it makes the right choices about whether this is a smart thing to do or it's going to waste too much time just trying to figure it out. So once it gets all the information, it gets a query, it checks the information, it says, oh, this is small, this is big, this is the path we should choose, it writes the query down, and it runs it. So we have our answer, and we have it as quickly as we could now. So we're kind of done. Does anyone know what the answer is?
42.
We have a 42 up in front. Anyone else?
Isn't it relative to what's happening on the East Coast?
Oh, isn't it relative to what's happening on the East Coast? Actually not for this question. It's not a relative question, but it's interesting thinking. And in reality, everybody's right because I have no idea. So I just say lots of data, lots of laptops are selling on the West Coast because, Dell, there's not a lot of laptops.
How about a lot fewer than it used to be?
A lot fewer than it used to be. We have up the front.
More smartphones.
More smartphones. It's probably totally true. Dell's not selling any smartphones yet.
We're not selling anything now because of New York and Sandy.
We're not selling. We have a comment that Sandy may have disrupted their operation.
They're all soggy. They'll make a whole killing with it.
So we may be presenting this data to Renee as part of a big, beautiful pie chart here about different types of computer sales. We might be giving her a giant table with detailed information about the subtotals per subregion, or she might just be making an API query and getting the count itself. There's a lot of ways to get the data out for us, and we have to support all of that. Most importantly, though, we did it really quickly. Just to give you guys a little bit of perspective, we run almost 1 billion requests a day.
Wow.
So this one that I give you an example for, it's somewhere in the middle as far as difficulty. Some of the requests we take are very simple. Some of them are far more complex than this one. And that's where the query optimizer really shines, and it's fantastic. On average, our request time is less than 300 milliseconds a piece, and we care about every little millisecond that we need. When we're running this many queries, we have to make everything run really fast. So that's the end of the talk, and I just wanted to give you guys a little glimpse into how we do things here, and why I enjoy it, at least, because it's a lot of fun, interesting challenges. And we get to do lots of big, crazy things with data and customers. Thank you.